How do, drummers? It's Rob Litton here from drumstheword.com. Welcome to this mini free song lesson. I'm always very excited to be able to do a Led Zeppelin song, and this one is no exception. What an absolute classic. Well, then when do I ever say a Led Zeppelin song is not an absolute classic? This song was suggested over on my Facebook page, and so if you want to make your own song suggestions, then please go over there to do so. If you visit the page, you'll find the post where a speech bubble says, what would you like me to teach? And just type in your suggestions below, and then others get to vote on them, and the most popular songs get chosen for future lessons. So today I'm going to be showing you how to play the best parts, the coolest parts, the neatest parts from the song Since I've Been Loving You by Led Zeppelin, drummed, well, I'm not even going to insult your intelligence, I think we all know who drummed on this, John Bonham. So what I've got for you today are 3 pages of transcriptions for you. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the main parts of the song, the biggest fills and beats and grooves. Obviously it's a 7-minute song, so I couldn't show you everything. The lesson would be too long. But with these basic parts, you've got what it takes to play the entire song, really. We've got all the different types of licks that John plays on these transcriptions. So you can download this for free from my website. So have all 3 pages printed out in front of you as we go through this together. It's going to make things a lot simpler for you to understand. So, first of all, I've written the tempo. The 8th note is 122 BPM. Now, it's in 3, this song, and there are many different ways you can write beats of 3. You can write as a bar of 4/4 and notate it as triplets. You could write it as a bar of 12/8. You could write it as a bar of 6/8. I've chosen to write it as a bar of 12/8. So we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a whole bar of 12. I've just split that up into 2 groups of 6 rather than counting 7, 8, 9, up to 12. We just count 2 groups of 6. And that's what makes up each of the bars. So we got the guitar intro at the beginning. Our first examples where John comes in with the drums. The guitar comes in with a little pickup note. And then John comes in with the first drum beat on beat 4 of the first bar. We skip over the first 3/8 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's kind of confusing that. If you're not ready for where the drums are supposed to come in, it might throw you off. But once you get it, you get it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we come in again with the next part, the hi-hat and bass drum on beat 6. 4, 5, 6. And then we sort of settle into what you'd recognise as the main groove of the song. So for the second half of the bar, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Basically, we got this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that first bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. Then we're into our second bar, and we start to hear these triplets within the 8th notes. So the first part, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, standard stuff. But then from beat 5, we're going to feel a triplet within that single beat counted from beat 5 to 6. So we're feeling it as a shuffle swing. This is the best way to feel most of these parts. So one way to count it, well, the way to count it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And here I'm counting the swung 8th note. 1 and, well, the swung 16th note in this case, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and it's not 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and that would be straight, although we do get some straight parts as well, as notated on the transcription here. That comes up in our next example. No, actually in this bar, so we'll see that in a second. But for this first half of the bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So I'm playing that ghost note there, ghost note drag, on that shuffled note of beat 5. 5 and 6. 5 and 6. 5 and. That's what come in there. 5 and 6. And you want to keep it nice and swung close to the next beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And 6. And I'll play up speed in a moment without me talking over the top so you can hear just the drums because that's quite quiet. So in the second half of the bar we get 1, 2, 3 and. So those 2 bass drum notes, 3 and, are played straight. We're not playing 3 and 4 and, we're playing 3 and 4, or 3 and 4 and. So we get within the same bar this swung and these straight eighth notes, which makes it such a really cool feel. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and we get 5 and 6 again with that drag leading into beat 6, 6. So that whole bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 1, 2, messed it up, do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 1. Then the next bar, next line, just the whole bar of this. Then the last bar we get more swung notes. So the first half of the bar is standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But then for the second half of the bar we get 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. A little ghost note there on swung 16th note of beat 2 and 3. And then we get our first swung bass drum note. 3 and. Remember, it's not 3E and, it's 3 and. Into beat 4, 4, 5. So the hi-hat's always keeping steady, by the way. You can always tell where you are within the beat by in relation to where your right hand is, what your right hand is playing. So we get 4, 5 and 6 and 1. Two more swung bass drum notes. 5 and 6 and 1. By the way, these next examples will become much easier and quicker to explain. The first example outlines all the sort of things we talk, all the swung notes and how to count them, etc. So that last bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 5 and 6 and 1. And now let me play for you all 4 bars up to speed without me talking over the top so you can hear just the drums. Here we go. So this next example occurs at 36 seconds and it features a lovely little triplet idea at the end of the first bar. So the first part of the bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Second half, we get 1, 2, 3 and 4, swung bass drum there. And then 4, and this is the cool bit, 5 triplet 6, 5 triplet 6. So right hand comes down on beat 5, then we play all 3 notes of the triplet, 5 triplets, and that's a ghost note there, a little quiet note. By the way, the ghost notes are written in brackets. 5 triplets, with the bass drum falling on the last note of the triplet. 5 triplet 6 into beat 6. 5 triplet 6. Really nice to play that. So that whole bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5 triplet 6. 5 triplet 6. Then the next bar, we get first half standard stuff. Second half, we get 1, 2 and 3 and. So again, we're going back to straight 16th notes again. 2 and 3 and. 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 5, 6. And I've written above that bar, note slightly slow down into beat 1 of next bar. So it's very obvious in this example where we get a very obvious slowdown, just a couple of BPM, just slows it down ever so slightly. 4, 5, 6, 1. You can feel the delay in it. It's such a subtle thing. And that's what makes John Bonham such a cool drummer, as well as his many licks and stuff, is his feel. He's able to sort of drag the beat without it sounding sloppy, sort of play behind the beat ever so slightly. And the rest of the band are used to John's playing, and so they follow him really naturally. It's just a lovely feel mix they all have. Anyway, enough gushing. Now let me play for you those 2 bars up to speed. So this next example occurs at 1 minute, and it's really the da 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 bit that I want to show you, but I thought I'd include the bar before it as well because it shows you how you lead into it. We're up on the right cymbal now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 5 and 6, 1. It's the swung, drag, ghost note, and 6, 1. Second half, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 1. 5 and 6 and 5 and ghost note 6 and we're not going to play and 1, we're going to play into the snare drum 6 and 1. So just the snare drum on its own. Later on he plays a flam at the beginning of each of these licks, but the first time he plays it I think he's just playing a single snare drum note. And we get this rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. And 3, 4. I don't think he plays and 3, 4. That's too much. I think he just plays and 3, 4. So not and 3, just and 3. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. And then we get, for the second half, 4 and 5 and 6 ands. 4 and 5 and 6 ands. Underneath that, he keeps time with the hi-hat. 4 and 5 and 6 ands. The hi-hat is coming down on each of those beats. Now, a little point of interest here, and I'm sure every time he moves to the right cymbal, I'm pretty sure he's always playing the 8th notes with the hi-hat foot. So he's pretty much always playing. But that sounds a bit too much on my kit. So I've just included the hi-hat parts where they stick out really obviously. And so if you want to leave them out completely, that's fine, but be aware it's not going to sound quite like the way John Bonham plays it. So what I'm trying to say is that he could be playing hi-hat, stepping hi-hat notes with the da 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 bit as well, but it's not so obvious on the recording, so I left it out. And like I say, just include the hi-hat notes where the stepped hi-hat notes where I'm hearing them really obviously. So that first half of that bar again. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 5 and 6 and. Second half of the bar is exactly the same except it starts with the flam. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 5 and 6 and 1. And we do get and 1 going into the next section. So that whole bar, 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 5 and 6 and 1. And now let's hear that played, both bars up to speed. So on to page 2, and we're skipping to 3 minute 33 where we get another example of the da 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 da, and I want to include another section because he sort of changes it every time he plays it. So the first half of the bar is what we've gone over already in the previous example, except it starts with a flam this time. Second half starts with the flam, but we don't get 1 and. He plays 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So 1 and 2, and then from the and of beat 2, the swung note of beat 2, 2 and 3 triplet, we're going to triplets. So we're playing 3 notes per counted 8th notes. 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 5 triplet, 6 triplet, etc. So, but we start on the last note of beat 2. So 1 and 2 and 3. I'm just going to continue the snare drum from that point. Notice I'm also playing 3, 4, 5, 6 with the hi-hat foot. And I suggest you start it with your left hand, because then you're going to come out in a well, you're going to be able to go down the toms correctly, leading with your right hand. If you start with your right hand, you end up having to do some crossover stuff, and that's not very easy to do, and that's not what John played. So we get, without the hi-hat foot, just to keep it simple, and 3 triplet, 4 triplets, then up to the high tom, 5 triplet, 6, 5 triplet, 6, and 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 5 triplet, 6. It ends there on beat 6 with the left hand. So 1 and 2 and 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 5 triplet, 6. Now let me play for you that bar up to speed. So next up, 3 minute 57, we have our first use of 30-second notes within the song. And that sounds like it should be crazy fast, but because the tempo's quite slow, those 30-second notes don't feel, they're not played so far as fast as you'd expect if you heard 30-second notes are in this song. So just for the first half of the bar, another cool little sort of variation of the bass drum and snare drum, we get 1. And by the way, when that first note I've written as a crash cymbal, it's usually just the ride cymbal he's using. I think he's using the ride cymbal all the way through this as his crash. So whenever you see a crash cymbal, I'm going to use the crash, but whenever you see a crash cymbal, I think it's John's using his ride cymbal as the crash. He just lays into it a bit harder to give it a bigger crash feel. So just be aware of that. So we get 1, and we're on the hi-hat. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and 6. They're all straight 16th notes being played there. Then from the second half of the bar, and we'll leave out the hi-hat foot for now, but be aware that every counted 8th note, we're playing 4 notes. And just to make it easier, I'm going to count them as 16th notes. 1 E-ander, 2 E-ander, 3 E-ander, 4 E-ander. So before with triplets, we had groups of 3, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. With 32nd notes, 1 E-ander, 2 E-ander, 3 E-ander, 4 E-ander. Be aware the tempo hasn't changed, we're just changing the subdivision. We're fitting more notes into the same space, so it sounds like they're speeding up. Well, they are, but the tempo hasn't changed. So, without the hi-hat foot, we get 1 and a 2 E and a 3 E, then up to the high tom, and a 4 E and then it ends with 5 E and a 6 E and. That's kind of hard to count that. 5 E and a 6 E and it ends with the right hand on the and a beat 6. We don't play the very last 16th note, or John didn't. So, 1 and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 5 E and a 6 E and. Let me play the whole bar for you. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. 1 and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 5 E and a 6 E and 1. And up to speed. And then at 5-minute 10, we get a really cool example of where he plays the first bar triplets and the second bar 32nd notes. So we get both examples right next to each other in the song. We're up on the ride cymbal for this section. First part of the bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, standard stuff. And then we get this triplet drum fill. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 trip. And if you're coming down from the ride cymbal with your right hand, 1 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 trip. That means your right hand can come up to the high tom. Lut, 4 triplet, lut, 4 triplet. Basically 4 notes, but in the triplet rate. 4 triplets, ends with your left hand. And then your right hand is then able to come down to the lowest tom. 5 triplets, 6 triplets. Just 2 groups of 3 there. So 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 5 triplet, 6 triplet, 1. With the hi-hat foot underneath, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 5 triplet, 6 triplet, 1. So notice you just right hand is going to each of the new drums. So that bar slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 5 triplet, 6 triplet, 1. Then the second bar is exactly the same drum fill as we had at 3 minute 57, the previous example, except we're just starting on the ride cymbal. It's exactly the same grouping of around the drums. 1 and a 2 E and a 1 and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 5 E and a 6 E and a 1. Exactly the same as we previously just did. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 5 E and a 6 E and a 1. So let's hear what those 2 bars sound like played together. So then at 6 minute 50, we get a classic John Bonham lick. Different names for this. I call them the Bonham bass drum triplets. And it's the idea where John plays the second and the third note of the triplet with the bass drum. He does this lick all the time in Led Zeppelin songs. He might be playing something with something like that, and it's so cool when he throws in these triplet ideas. So he uses it here. First part though, we get 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 4, and. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then from beat 5 we get the triplets. 5 triplet, 6 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 5 triplet, 6, and it ends there. So we're just simply playing, but in time. The right hand hasn't changed. So that whole bar, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5 triplet, 6 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 5 triplet, 6, 1. And up to speed. So at 6:44, near the end of the song, we get Bonham breaks out from the standard groove to play this drum fill in the second half of the bar. First half, up on the ride cymbal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1. And we're playing 6 and 1 into a crash. Again, it could be just, I think it's just the ride cymbal he's using, so it's probably 6 and 1, just laying into that ride a little bit harder for that note there. And we get to the second half of the bar, 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 5 and 6, 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 5 and 6, 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 5 and 6. So the whole bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 5 and 6. Then for the second bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. From beat 2 of the second half, we get 1, 2 triplet 3, 2 triplet 3, and then 4 triplets, 5 triplet 6. The grouping there, the orchestration, 4, 5, 6. So 3 here, 1 here, and then the last 3 notes on the floor tom. So that whole bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2 triplet 3, 4 triplet, 5 triplet, 6, 1. And let's hear those 2 bars up to speed. So then right before the end of the song, 6:56, just before the slow down, just before that bit, we get this single bar of triplets around the drums. And in order to play it properly, you need to be able to use this specific sticking that John Bonham uses. I'm pretty sure this is the sticking he uses. If you use just single strokes, you end up not being able to come back to the drums comfortably, as you might experience if you try out yourself. Again, the hi-hat foot is stepping on all the beats underneath. If you leave out for now, we get 1 triplet, 2 triplets, and then down to the floor tom for beat 3, 3 triplet. And that's the sticking you have to use, right, left, left. I believe that's how John would have played it, right, left, left. The reason is you then come out with your right hand. If you don't, you come out with your left hand and it all gets confusing. So 3 triplet, 1, and then it just loops. So we get 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet. Really nice to go around the drums like that. The bass drum comes down with a crash each time, or ride cymbal. So that gets played 3 times. Then the last part, we get 4 and I suggest you start with your right hand here, although it doesn't really matter. 4 and 5 triplets 6. That was a bit sloppy. And 5 triplets 6. That middle note of beat 5 there, the middle note of the triplet, is a ghost note. If you can't play the ghost note comfortably, then just leave out and play and 5 and 6. But if you listen very carefully, you can hear and 5 trip. You can hear a little ghost note there, and 5 triplet 6. And it goes in and 1 into the last bit. So slowly that whole bar, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 5 triplet, 6 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet. Start to lose the counting there. The second half of that bar was a bit sloppy. And let's hear it played properly up to speed. So I hope you enjoyed that, had fun. I certainly did. Don't forget to download all 3 pages of the PDF from my website for free. You'll find the link beneath this video. And then while you're at my website, you might want to consider signing up to become an online member. And what I currently offer for $97 is a full year's online access to every single full video song lesson I've ever recorded and transcribed. And that's coming up to 500 full video song lessons. Just like, unlike this lesson, with my full song lessons, I teach you every single bar from start to finish. You get the fully transcribed PDF drum chart to come with each lesson as well. And like I said, I've got almost 500 full song lessons up on the website already, including a ton of other Led Zeppelin lessons, full lessons and mini song lessons like this. So loads of stuff on the website already. And to thank you for signing up, I give you access to hundreds more little videos teaching you many, many famous drum beats, fills, and even drum solos, many of which are John Bonham. I give you 3 ebooks containing hundreds more famous beats, fills and solos, again, many of which are featuring John Bonham. And then over the year of your subscription, you also gain instant online access to all the new material that I upload for my members. And I record new lessons every week unless I'm ill or on holiday. So you've got lots of cool stuff to look forward to over the year of your subscription. But if you've got any questions about any of that, then feel free to email me, robertdrumstheword.com. And until our next drum lesson together, toodle pip and happy drumming to you.